What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Today's video is going to be the start of something that I've been working on for a while. A project for a what if that's pretty much going to change the entire story. And the craziest part is, the change isn't anything too drastic. Well, at least at first. It's something that could have realistically happened, but this one small change would have changed the entire story. So what's going to cause the turn of events here, and what's going to result from it? Today, we'll be looking at a scenario where Granolah is sent to Earth with Goku. This is going to be more like my Mortal Beerus what if, where I'm essentially taking a pre-existing character and making a brand new one out of it, although this one isn't as radical of a change. And for this video, let's set a like of 4,000 likes. If we hit that, I'll continue with another part to this story and make it a full series. Anyways, let's begin this scenario. We begin during Bardock's fight with the Heaters, or the lack thereof. The big change here is that instead of fighting them, Bardock's able to create a distraction, briefly battling, but then making a getaway with Granolah and Monito, allowing them to head off planet, back to planet Vegeta actually. He doesn't know why he's doing this, or why he's been acting up this entire time. This isn't like him, and he just saved these random two people. He'll figure it out back on planet Vegeta. But he's also having thoughts about something else. He's very suspicious of Frieza, and feels like sometime soon, something bad's gonna happen. He arrives back on planet Vegeta, going to Gine, who's surprised to see the two people with him. Bardock says he doesn't really have time to explain. He just kinda did this on a whim. But he also tells her about Frieza. Monito is shocked to hear this too. So even here, they're not safe. Bardock says he doesn't really know what to do. At least he got him out of there so the Heaters wouldn't have killed them. But they still do have to worry about Frieza. Monito regrets how hastily they escaped planet Cereal, because he now realized that they left the Dragon Balls there. They probably could have used that for something, but Bardock has another idea. They're gonna escape this planet. They'll go somewhere off the map. And first, maybe they should send the two kids away. Gine doesn't really like this idea, but Bardock says worst case, they'll just go find Kakarot again. And they can send Granolah with him. These two will be safe. And before Frieza does something, if he even is planning something at all, they'll be able to leave as well. Both Granolah and Kakarot are confused, but Bardock, Gine, and Monito tell them it's for the best, as the two kids are sent off to planet Earth. Of course, even with this change, it doesn't change the fact that Frieza is going to destroy planet Vegeta. All the Saiyans on there die, including Bardock. Monito also dies as well, with planet Cereal's Dragon Balls going with him. But at least the two kids are safe on Earth. When they arrive, the two don't really know how to act. They're both overwhelmed by everything that's happening. And Kakarot's a bit rowdy. He is still pretty young, and as a Saiyan, he's naturally like this. Granolah is a bit older than him, so at least he has some sense of what to act like. Or at least that's what we'll be going with in this scenario. We'll say that Granolah is a bit older than him by a few years or so. The two of them are eventually found by Gohan, who takes them in and actually learns a bit about them. Since Granolah's memory is intact, and he's old enough to actually talk about what's happened, he gives Gohan a little bit of info. He doesn't know too much about this kid with him, but he knows that his father or something saved him. He can't articulate much beyond that. So Gohan asks both their names. Granolah knows his name, but he never actually got that kid's name. Well, Gohan will just have to make one for him for now. He'll call this kid Goku. And at some point, Grandpa Gohan would probably still drop Goku on his head, meaning all of his memories are gone for good. But at least Granolah still has some of his, remembering his planet, how he got here, and of course people like his mom and Monito. But it's weird, Goku lost all of his memories. And at first, Granolah isn't really too fond of him. I mean, the Saiyans did destroy their people, but he realized that this kid could be different. And he remembers, it is the son of the Saiyan who saved him. Not to mention, Monito went along with it too. Maybe he should try and protect this kid. And as the two grow up under Grandpa Gohan, Granolah starts to feel more of a connection with Goku. There is some big changes here with them growing up. Even though Goku doesn't know his name Kakarot, he does know a little bit about his history, and he does know that he's a Saiyan. And of course Granolah knows he's an alien too. But with him being here, it actually helps a bit with Goku's training. Under Gohan's guidance, he's raising two students. And Granolah has some really weird abilities. He also does know a little bit about ki control. He's seen his people use ki like that all the time. And he doesn't really have a good grasp on it yet. But at some point he is able to showcase it, meaning Goku would probably showcase it earlier on too. Also, Goku's probably going to grow up smarter than normal. The reason for that is, Gohan's not going to die here. At some point, Goku would probably transform into a great ape, and both Granolah and Gohan try everything in their power to stop it. But Granolah's able to see something pretty interesting. He sees a vital point in his tail. With no other better options, he cuts off Goku's tail, making him de-transform back into his base. Of course, the tail does grow back later on, but the two of them realize whatever that power was, it probably came from that tail. Granolah saw those great apes on his planet too. So it's something that all Saiyans could do, but something that Goku doesn't have control over. But with how strong the two kids are growing, Gohan decides at some point they should probably visit Roshi. That'll really help with their training. And the two of them are sent there pretty early on. He's intrigued. First of all, he learns that these two are aliens, but he also sees their innate potential. They'll definitely be interesting as students, and he can't wait to see what they'll be capable of. A lot of time passes. The two grow closer and closer. Although they're not biologically related, Granolah does view Goku as a younger brother. They've grown up together. And Goku has ties to his former life. The last time he saw Manito was when he and Goku departed planet Vegeta. But Goku's also a symbol of his new life here on Earth. Of course, Goku lives a much more carefree existence. He does know about his people, but doesn't really care for them because he doesn't really remember them either. That connection isn't as strong like it is with Granolah. But the two grow a bond, not just as brothers but as rivals too. At some point, under Roshi's training, they get a visitor on the island. It's Bulma, looking for the Dragon Balls. And yeah, they remember hearing about this. But wait a second. The more Granolah learns about them, the more he realizes. These are just like the ones on Planet Cereal, the ones that Manito made. Does that mean there's possibly a Namekian here too? Well, no one knows for sure, because no one even knows what a Namekian is. So it looks like Granolah's just gonna have to figure it out later on. But both of them are intrigued. They go on the hunt for the Dragon Balls with Bulma. It seems pretty fun, and it'll give them some real-world training. Or at least they think so. All the threats they encounter aren't really that strong. With how powerful these two are right now, nothing in their way could stop them, not even the Pilaf gang. They also do meet people like Yamcha, as well as Chi-Chi and Ox King, and the journey is much easier than it was normally, as well as being much faster, meaning Bulma gets the Dragon Balls, and she makes a wish for an unlimited supply of strawberries. So that's the first arc done with. From here, the two try to hone their skills even further. Granolah is still a bit ahead of Goku. He knows the skills of the Cerealians and all, and he's practicing what he's best at. He works on sniping more, although it's weird. There's no other Cerealians here that he could practice with, so he ends up making his own style of fighting. He actually studies Earthling-based snipers, who use actual weapons instead of ki, which is weird, but he takes inspiration from it, which is why his design looks like this. For this design, I took a lot of inspiration from Metal Gear Solid, because Granolah's working on stealth a lot, trying to incorporate that within his style. Also, as a further Metal Gear Solid reference, he's gonna have a pet here. A pet parrot, actually. Why? Because of the reference. There's no other reason, really. Best part is, his parrot's name is Oatmeal. And it's nice for him to have a pet. Also, Oatmeal kinda acts as a spotter for him sometimes. He trains him like that, as well as training Oatmeal to act as a decoy, mimicking different sounds. He utilizes this whenever they hunt for food, something that he does a lot in his training just to practice more. But even with this kind of rudimentary training, he does still train under Roshi a lot too with more formal training, and eventually the two of them meet Krillin. Again, Granolah is still ahead of them, and a bit older too. He's probably around the same age as Bulma, and he has kind of an unfair advantage against the two because he's also taller than them, by a significant amount too. And this comes into play during the 21st World Tournament. The three students all enroll, as well as Roshi as Jackie Chun. And Roshi's concerned that one of his students will win, which wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, but he doesn't want it to get to their heads. But for Granolah, it might not be that big of an issue. He's much more mature, it seems. He's more so concerned about how Goku will react if he wins. Oh yeah, and since Gohan's here, he's probably gonna end up joining the tournament too, just to see how his two adopted sons are performing. The final ends up being Granolah versus Goku. And Granolah's intrigued to see how his little brother is growing. Although, he does end up winning the fight, and Roshi's glad. The two both seem content. And Granolah's definitely not gonna get ahead of himself, getting cocky about winning or whatever. He already knows he's advantaged. He's an alien after all. He kinda knew going in that he'd win. And Roshi does tell him, he's not infallible. Just because he wins this tournament doesn't mean he can't be stopped by anything. Roshi's known for a while. Granolah's a good influence on Goku. And actually, vice versa applies too. Goku makes Granolah a lot softer. He is kinda shut off from the others, given how he grew up and all, and the fact that he's not actually an Earthling. And even though Granolah does have an air of confidence around him, he holds his family and friends really close, specifically Gohan and Goku. In order to practice more with sniping, Granolah continues studying the snipers here on Earth. He ends up spying on the Red Ribbon Army actually. They seem pretty powerful, and of course as an army they're gonna have people like this. But he can only do this for so long. At some point, he will be noticed. But it's good timing too, because now the Red Ribbon Army is mobilizing, trying to gather the Dragon Balls for themselves, beginning their journey for world dominance. One day while studying them, Granolah is spotted, but their weapons are useless against him. He never even thought about it like that. So he begins attacking the army, realizing they're a threat. But this might be a little bit too much for him. I mean, he's alone right now. Does this mean he's gonna take on the entire army alone? Well, not necessarily. Goku can tell something's going on with Granolah. He hasn't come back home in a while, so Goku goes to check up on him. And as Granolah fights the Red Ribbon Army, Goku arrives on Nimbus, jumping down from the sky, beginning to fight alongside Granolah. Together, the two take on the entire Red Ribbon Army, and the army realizes they're at a disadvantage now. Somehow, these two alone are taking on their entire troops, so they're gonna need to send in the big guns. Their strongest soldiers, like Blue for example. But even he's not enough for them. Thankfully, they still do have an ace up their sleeve, Mercenary Tao. He might actually be a match for these two. As the two continue fighting the army, something strange happens. They see what looks like a tree or something flying in the sky, and a man jumps off of it. He doesn't even say anything, but Goku and Granolah immediately know that he's a threat. Tao rushes towards Goku, landing a powerful attack, and knocks him away, and Granolah then tries to attack. But Tao counters it, and the two clash. Goku gets back up, recollecting himself, pulling out his power pole and using it to fight. If they were alone, Tao could have probably won. But with the two of them fighting together, he knows he needs to separate them, so he focuses his attention on Goku, who actually has a tough time fending him off. But Granolah jumps in front of him, telling Tao to stay away from his little brother. If he wants to fight, pick on someone his own size. And Tao tries to attack with his tongue even, which is weird, but Granolah sees what he's doing. He's trying to go for vital points. He instantly recognizes what's going on here. Alright, if Tao's gonna do that, Granolah could do that too, pretty easily in fact. He focuses with his right eye, locating every vital point that he could find on Tao. And with a series of coordinated attacks, he's able to hit them all, landing some devastating blows, dealing more damage than what would have been dealt normally. Tao is dumbfounded. How is this possible? And just like that, the Red Ribbon Army is defeated, with Tao being killed by Granolah. Goku thanks him for the save, and Granolah is glad he's okay. Roshi, Krillin, and Gohan then come in, surprised to hear what happened, but apparently, they stopped the Red Ribbon Army's conquest before it even began. They took on an entire army? These two kids? Wow. They always knew the Red Ribbon Army was bad, but they didn't think that they were actually gonna do this. Not to mention send an assassin after two kids. But it seemed like they were the ones that were disadvantaged, because in the end, Granolah and Goku won. Although, this is gonna have some consequences later on. With Tao dying, someone's gonna want revenge. Just like Granolah is protective of his brother, Tao has a brother that's gonna be pretty upset to hear about his death, and that's Master Shen. He wants Granolah and Goku to be dealt with. He'll avenge his brother, and he has the perfect way to do that. His two students, Tenshinhan and Chaozu. He'll make sure his students kill Roshi's students. We enter a brief time skip too. Right before the 22nd World Tournament, Goku, Granolah, and Krillin are growing much stronger, as Granolah also begins to develop more of his own fighting style. They're ready for whatever's going to come their way next, even though they don't exactly know what lies ahead. Goku wants to surpass his brother though. As I mentioned, they are rivals, and the two motivate each other to grow stronger. Goku doesn't want Granolah to worry about him anymore, having to protect him and all, like that fight against Tao. Goku wishes he could have handled that himself, but he simply couldn't. But maybe there's another method of training that they could pursue. Roshi leads them to Korin's tower. This might be a good next step for all three of them, even Krillin, although it's definitely going to take a lot of time. It even took Roshi a lot of time, but maybe they'll be able to climb the tower and meet Korin. And if they're able to do this, he'll definitely train them to grow way stronger than they could have been before. And the three begin their journey to climb to the top. It takes a while, but they eventually reach it. And Korin's intrigued to see three of them up here. Well, looks like he has his work cut out for him, and he's gonna begin training these three to be the best warriors that they could be. And he wonders, maybe one day, they'll be strong enough to go even beyond the tower, up to Kami's lookout. But that might be a bit of a ways off. For now, he's just gonna focus on this for the moment. This will definitely prepare them for the World Tournament coming up. But at the same time, the Crane School is making preparations too. Not only are they gonna win this tournament, but they're gonna make sure Granolah and Goku are killed. At least that's what Shen wants to make sure happens. But we're gonna have to save that for the next part. This is where we leave off for now. So, what did you guys think about this part? And what did you guys think about the story so far? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'll be sure to come out to see what you guys think. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. And let's try to hit that like goal from the beginning of the video so we can get another part of the series. If you haven't already, why not subscribe? As well as hitting the bell icon to be notified about any future uploads of my channel, including more parts of the series or any other videos like it. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.